Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of the Premarket Prep session. Where that bell rings, we're going over the important news, notes, analysis, and trade ideas that are key to making sure that you continue to knock it out of the park when it comes to markets, to take advantage of the times where it's easy to make money, make sure that you're scaling back in the times when it's a little bit hard to make money. Gauging and setting up the correct expectations is everything in this game, and that's what we're about crafting here each and every day. And this session is brought to you by the live Kaizen educational event that we will have this month, right? In 15 days, 3 days, where we're learning about the next wave of AI stocks. Then we're going over everything AI that you need to know in order to add professional and personal value to your life, right? If you're already signed up, which a lot of you guys are, keep an eye on your email. You'll be getting a little survey out here today. I want to try and personalize this as much as possible toward your respective professions and interests in order to just make this the biggest knockout 3 day event possible. So I'm very excited for that. If you're not already signed up for that, make sure you go to I'mBetterDaily.com and get signed up for that. Um, it's going to be a knockout event, right? It's money to make money. You got to invest in yourself in order to, do well. I get some in DMs. People are like, "Hey, I've got, I don't have any money, but I want to make money in the market. What can I do? Go get a job and then come back with money to use for the market, right? Like I can't do anything if you're like, I have $0. Help me." Absolutely nothing. There's really not many places in the world where you can go and do something like that. Making an exchange is a fundamental law of nature, right? Anytime you guys hear me and you're like, "Oh, Adam's doing this and he's doing that," I have spent time and I have spent money learning how to do what I now do, and I'm not stingy about it. And therefore, I'm not stingy when it gets to receiving the blessings, right? I'm not sad when it's like, or I'm not thinking, "Oh, it was a miracle." No, I went out and I spent time and I spent money learning how to do this, right? I went out and I found experts. I said, "Hey, for out of your time, can I sit down and see how you do this? Can I check this out? Do you have any resources?" Right. And then that comes back to me once I put in the work. But you can't be out here expecting something to happen for nothing. And I feel like unfortunately that's what a lot of people expect. We're in a time where we are drowning in information and starving for wisdom. Go somewhere where that information is being applied, right? Go somewhere where you can see that information being applied, because the info itself does nothing. My people, you might pop into the pre-market prep sessions and you're like, "Okay, Adam told me that this is going to happen this week and then it's time to focus on Friday." And people made millions of dollars from thousands of dollars on Friday in that last hour, just from that bounce off of that support level that was called out last week, right? People made literally in 0 dates turned thousands of dollars into millions of dollars because there was, it was some crazy. There was one person in particular that it was like a 400,000% return. It was something insane, but it was either 400,000 or 4,000. Regardless, they turned basically a few tens of thousands of dollars into multiple millions. So there are amazing things out there for you to do, but without that application, right? Without making that investment, that's never you. And once you get over that hump, there's like huge doors that open on the other side of that. Once you get over that cost versus value thing, nothing amazing ever happened to someone for free. Nothing. Even winning the lottery, you got to pay for a lottery ticket, right? So for all my people that are apprehensive about that, it's a fundamental law of nature. Embrace those laws. Use them. Anybody can use them, right? Embrace those laws. Use them to your benefit, and don't try and go against the system. Once you embrace the system and how things work, you can leverage it for your own good. But like even now, I'm seeing so many blessings that are opening up, right? I was contacted yesterday based off the demos that are going on with some of the bots that I built, those demos that I told you guys about over the weekend. This guy who is the head of a major software company, that works with salons, and he's like, "I saw the demo of what you did. Apparently, you're the architect. Like, we need to sit down. We need to talk. I've got connections with a lot of different salons that need this. Let's figure out how to make this work." Bro, I literally that's something where it's like you can't pay for that, but I never would have gotten in that realm or gotten the chance for that if I hadn't taken the time to sit down and to learn, number one, and also spent the money to learn, right, from someone. And the money that I spent, right, cost more than what a lot of the small tinkering things that I learned in order to perfect the bots that I make. I learned from someone who owned an agency that I emailed and I just said, "Hey, I'll pay you $200 for an hour every time." Right. costs 150 for you to get in the challenge. I paid $200 for an hour of this guy's time. You're getting 3 days of my time, and this is something that I'm already proving works, and I'm already getting number one clients, number two people that are providing major opportunities. Right, to the point where, again, in this game, when you make something, you make a software, you make this, you make that, you make something, you make it once, you literally swap out names or tailor this or tailor that, and then you can license it to anyone. Like, it's you can't beat it. It's like software, but for people who don't know how to code at all. As long as you've just got a brain, you understand pain points, you can make something shake from this AI world. So I won't get too deep into it because I could go down this rabbit hole forever. I'm super passionate about it now. But I'll get into what we have to go on. Anyways, I say all that to say, if you're not already registered to be in that room, make sure that you're in that virtual room, June 19th to the 21st. That's all I can tell you. For my people who are like, I need something so badly right now, I need a blessing in my life, put yourself in the environment to get blessed, right? You don't want it that badly if you keep staying in the same environments and doing the same things. So that's what I tell everybody, who comes to me and they're like, I'm going through a tough time. Put yourself in other environments so that you can have a miracle happen to you, right? If ain't nothing happening at the same job you go to, the same people you hang out with, that are not, change that. And then suddenly you start to see change start to happen. And you're like, wow, this is crazy. It was right around the corner. I just had to have the courage to take the turn. But diving into our stock news here this morning, top news, immigration and the economy. More than 6 million migrants have crossed into the U.S. illegally under the Biden administration, which is now prepping an executive order to stem the flow at the U.S.-Mexico border. The action, which will likely be unveiled at the White House today, will rely on an authority in the U.S. code known as Section 212F. It would temporarily shut down the border to asylum seekers when a daily threshold of crossings exceeds 2,500. I mean, that is crazy to think about. 6 million migrants have crossed illegally. 6 million. That is so many people. So the temporary shutdown to asylum seekers once we cross the daily threshold of 2,500. It's just crazy that many people pour across per day. Like, many more than 2,500 pour across per day. Like, I don't think it's tough for us to conceptualize what 2,500 people looks like. Like, that is a crap ton of people. And that is like the smallest threshold. Like, there's so many more than that pour over each and every day. It's crazy to think about. So it would basically, the border would shut down when you exceed that threshold of 2,500, but it would reopen when the number falls below 1,500, putting a spotlight on publicly traded operators of detention centers like Core Civic and Geo Group. Geo is a stock that we traded some time ago. When the economy takes a downturn, Geo has detention centers and jails and stuff like that. So it's like, hey, when crime goes up, more people go in jail, these stocks make more money. So these are two stocks that potentially, could see some positive sentiment here following what we've got going on with this border issue. Because, I mean, does that mean that, so when it falls below 1,500, so what does that mean? People like wait in the queue? Like, do they just stand at the border and wait until there's less than 2,500 people that are standing there? I'm not sure. I have no idea. Or maybe it just means that when the daily threshold crosses 2,500, and then the next day, if it falls below 1,500, then they open it back up. I have no idea. Maybe these people then have to wait in the detention centers, something that, we'll have to look deeper into. But I think regardless of the logistics of it, it ends up being where more people are put in these detention centers that are owned by CXW and GEO. So snapshot rich countries, especially those with retiring baby boomers and declining birth rates, need greater sources of workers to fill in labor gaps and ease inflation. This is especially true in areas of the U.S. economy like construction, manufacturing, agriculture, and transportation, which all generally see lower levels of participation from native-born populations, while many wealthier countries such as Japan, South Korea, Germany, and Spain are amending laws to bring in foreign manual labor. It's less of a problem in the U.S., which is experiencing thousands of migrant crossings a day on its southern border. In 2023, the foreign-born accounted for 18.6% of the U.S. civilian labor force, so pretty much 20%. was foreign born, according to the U.S. Labor Department, which includes legal immigrants, refugees, temporary residents, such as students and temp workers, and undocumented migrants in its figures. Those numbers have been surfaced by advocates against illegal immigration who have warned of Americans losing jobs to outsiders that are willing to work for less money or willing to do the work at all. Like Americans are super privileged, and we think that again, we don't need to do anything because we have some like inflated idea of what we are entitled to based off of social media and everything else. Right. We think we're entitled to so much because of what we see other people have. And in real life, you're entitled to absolutely nothing. And that is one thing, for a lot of these migrants, they've realized that and they work. And a lot of these jobs, like I honestly don't think normal American people would take them anyways. So it doesn't really is there I'm trying to hear if there's not. I don't think so. So it doesn't really, matter really to those figures, I feel like, because a lot of these jobs are just jobs that people feel like they're above. So there's no real impact. What to watch? Illegal immigration remains a hot topic on the campaign trail, and Biden's new order is likely aimed at addressing those concerns. That doesn't mean it will be implemented, with a good chance the action will be blocked by federal courts over violation of asylum laws. Even if it would take effect, the order will be difficult to fully implement as it would require major increases in border agents, detention space, and agreements from other countries willing to accept back an influx of migrants. Let me see here. All right. Yeah. So I feel like this is kind of one of those election promises where Trump is gonna come hard for the border. He's gonna be talking about how many people have flowed through the border and how weak it is and things like that. So I guess this is a Biden administration's like means of trying to get the border in ship shape before election time. But I mean, we already have 6 million people that flowed over. So let me see. So yeah, more pandering, basically. Now, in terms of stock news, trading trouble, the NYSE SE, New York Stock Exchange, on Monday witnessed a technical glitch that triggered trading halts in about a dozen companies, like Class A shares of Berkshire Hathaway, which were displayed as down 99%. The issue appeared to be related to a new software release, but follows another recent glitch that had caused financial websites to halt updates of major indices for over an hour. Speaking of volatility, E-Trade, who's owned by Morgan Stanley, ticker MS, is considering booting meme stock trader Keith Gill off its platform due to growing stock manipulation concerns after his recent purchase of GameStop. So here's my thing, right? You could go on like any of these like finance related shows, and all of these analysts are on there pumping their own bags, right? But they're giving their analysis and their input, but they're going on there and they're saying why stocks they hold are great stocks to hold, and it pumps their bags. So why is what he's doing any different? It's literally not, right? It's just like when people from outside of the club start doing what those inside of the club are doing, people inside of the club get angry. So yeah, I think it would be ridiculous for E-Trade to kick him off, but I feel like they're probably getting pressure from the powers that be. I feel like it's not like he said, hey, I'm gathering this as it was happening. I don't know. I just think that like anyone who is an analyst and who goes out and talks about different stocks that they like on the regular and does so on TV is manipulating the stock because you have access to millions of viewers, right? So what is the difference? It's just one is like sanctioned under the powers that be and others aren't. In terms of the technical glitch, a lot of people try to snap up Berkshire Hathaway shares. I really wasn't concerned about it because I feel like they're going to snatch them back. I do, coming through the internet, there were a few cases of people that were able to get them, typically using like a market order and just trying to get as many shares as they could. I know that some people did get a few shares, and as a result, they're up a nice little six-figure profit because, the stock immediately went up like 400% or 600%, whatever it was, after the glitch was normalized. But I don't think they let anyone who purchased those shares cash them out. I don't think so, and I think they yank it from the people that might have gotten their hands on them. So yeah, that's where we're at with things. But it was a crazy day yesterday. Really, really, really crazy day. It was like an episode of The Twilight Zone. Like I've never seen anything like that happen before, and it's so weird. Like it makes you want to know what is the new software release, right? They're like, oh, the issue appeared to be related to a new software release, but it was just weird that like we have all of these glitches happening on the day that like Roaring Kitty announces, his position over the weekend, and GameStop gaps up however much it gapped up, and then suddenly we have these like glitches in the market. It's like convenient timing. And what was the software release exactly? What were you trying to do? But yeah, it wasn't only Berkshire Hathaway's shares that got like that artificially dropped. There were a ton of different shares that were literally showing at zero price. Um, in terms of energy news, falling short, plans to triple global renewable energy capacity this decade are not in line with the goals agreed to at the COP28 summit. No way. No way that dog and pony show didn't lay forth actual realistic goals that anybody was really trying to hit. That's according to the International Energy Agency. Quote, even if all countries were to fully implement their current ambitions, the world would fall 30% short. Why do we waste money sending these people in private jets to COP28 to talk about goals that we will not reach? Like it makes no sense. Like why do we do this? It's like when your kids go and they play like dress up or something like that. It's like it's all imagination. Such a waste of time. The 2030 goal is a key factor in the target of achieving net zero emissions by mid-century and limiting global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius. It comes as delegates convene in Germany for climate talks this week, which will influence the major decisions to be made at the COP29 summit in November. I'm sure there are tons of major decisions that are going to be made. When people have much more pressing issues like inflation and war and conflict and issues with the supply chain, which have now been persisting for upwards of 5 years, 5 to 6 years, they're not concerned. Unfortunately, right? They're not concerned. It's not like I'm like, against the environment or against green initiatives. It's just right now, if you know that it's silly, why do that? Right? It's like if we've got an asteroid that's like coming toward Earth and it's supposed to hit in 3 days, and you're talking about the weather report, a month from now. It's like it doesn't really matter. Same thing here. If you know that you're not going to take the time, and also everyone's in an election year. So you're telling me everyone here is in an election year where inflation is high, and obviously the easiest way in order to decrease inflation is to just buy up more gas, right? Buy up more gas, increase your reserves. It's tougher to try and put in new green infrastructure, and it's costly. So you've got all these factors pointing to the fact that no one is actually going to care about these green initiatives. And then it's like you set these super lofty ones, like at this point, it's such a waste of time. Global year of the election. Nice transition. India's benchmark indices tumbled the most in 4 years overnight as votes in the world's biggest election indicated that an alliance led by the ruling party BJP may not win a sweeping majority as predicted by exit polls. The Nifty index and the BAC dropped more than 8%. Wow. During the session, marking the biggest intraday declines since the onset of the pandemic in March 2020. The slump reversed the record gain seen on Monday when a landslide victory for BJP, led by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, was widely expected. Yeah, sheesh. Ton of volatility there, and it looks like it's bled here across markets. In Asia, Japan down 0.2%, Hong Kong up 0.2, China up 0.4, India down 5.7. The footy in London down 0.5, Paris down 0.8, Frankfurt down 1.1, the Dow down 0.5, S&P down 0.5, NASDAQ down 0.5, crude down 1.9%, gold down 0.8%, Bitcoin up 0.1%. Today's economic calendar, nothing really important that's going to be dropping. A few pieces of data at 10, but they don't seem to be the ones that really move markets. So what else is happening? We'll finish up with our stock rapid fire news rundown. Spotify, ticker Spot, is raising prices for premium subscribers. AMD unveils new processors as AI race heats up. Oregon jury awards talc plaintiff $260 million in verdict against J&J. There's a gnat in here. That is the one thing. Did I get him? I don't think so. You guys know I'm literally like the gnat assassin. I cannot stand them. And now is the time of year. I just went throughout our, place and was plugging in the little, what is it, like those little blue light things with the sticky pads on them that attracts them. I need to get more because I cannot stand them. Um, Oregon jury awards talc plaintiff $260 million in a verdict against Johnson& Johnson. Skydance to announce takeover of Paramount. Long time coming, but I guess they finally got it done. We'll see if the regulatory agencies let that happen. What's next for Bitcoin and Ethereum? That's an article that's hyperlinked there. Diamondback Energy, ticker FANG, expands footprint in Midland Basin. U.S. home power bills forecast to jump nearly 8% this summer. Learn how to put your money to work for you. Learn AI. Those are the two things, right? I can't control my power bill, but I can control how much I'm bringing in and what I'm doing right now. Even if you're comfortable, don't wait for yourself to get uncomfortable, right? Noah didn't wait until he was up to his nose in water to start building the ark. Don't wait until you're 3 months behind on your bills to start saying, hey, I should probably figure out some other way to make money. No, when you're comfortable is when you say, cool, in order to make sure I stay comfortable in this crazy world where my Berkshire Hathaway shares could be worth $0 tomorrow, right? What can I do to make sure that I'm having multiple streams to keep me afloat? Do that, especially when you're comfortable, because it's a lot harder to do when your back is against the wall, right? So do it now. This is for all my people that are comfortable and you're chilling, and there's no way AI is going to come for your job, and there's no way that this, that, and the third are going to happen, right? Cool. Take the time while you're comfortable to continue to prepare for the future. Right. Don't wait until you're uncomfortable to make major moves. Because by that point, a lot of times it's going to be too late. Right. You might be good. And then suddenly there's something that happens with the car. And then, oh, your kid is in school and something happened. And, this. And then these random, you guys know how it happens. Like these random things arise out of nowhere. And suddenly you go from being good to being like, crap, I don't know if I am good for the next few months. Don't wait for that to happen. Right. Work on that now. And that's really what this community is all about. It's not about fear mongering. It's about remaining ready, staying ready. So no matter what happens, okay, cool, I'm good. That's like I want that to be my mantra for the rest of my life. Okay, cool, I'm good. Trump's in office, whatever. Okay, cool, I'm good. Biden's in office. Okay, cool, I'm good. Gas prices going up. Okay, cool, I'm good. Right, that's what you want it to be, but that takes consistent work. Kaizen, 1% better daily. Deal making. HubSpot may have hired financial advisors, and then Ackman's Pershing Square seeks to raise $25 billion for closed end fund. Now, that's what we got going on here for this morning, June 4th, 2024. Almost at the halfway mark of this year. Make sure you're continuing to close the gap between where you are and where you want to be. If you're comfortable, ensure that you remain comfortable, right? But now is that time where you can feel it in your chest, where there's a lot of things moving, a lot of things changing. Let's make sure you're moving and changing along with them. And that's exactly what this community is about. I wouldn't rather share this time with anybody else. So let's go out, crush it, have a great day, parlay that into a great week. Cat Rob's kids starting college. Look, it's true. Like I feel like it's put on my heart for a reason. That's how it goes. Like it's just, and I've been that kid in college. I have been the idiot kid in college where I'm calling my parents. I'm like, oh, I got my car towed again because I was out partying and I got this ticket and I didn't pay it. And then suddenly you're like, come on, man, can't you just like hold it together long enough? Am I not doing enough work for you? So luckily, I'm still a little bit off from that in terms of the joys of fatherhood and having college kids. But I know how they are, right? I know how they are. So make sure that you're ready for all that and some more. And let's keep crushing it and paving the way for a good life for ourselves. But everybody have a great rest of the day. Yes, thank you all. I appreciate y'all. And I'll see you back here tomorrow morning for our next pre-market prep session. Have a good one. Peace.